day guys, welcome to Easy Learn online platform. Today on biology class we'll be talking about cell. What is cell? Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. It means all life, all living things, both plants and animals, originate from cell. And these cells forms the basis of growth and development for all living things that you can see and you can think of. Now, what are the two classifications of living things based on the number of cells they have? We have two classifications. Number one, the unicellular organisms. What are unicellular organisms? Unicellular organisms are organisms that have just one cell. And that one cell is capable of carrying out all life activities. It's capable of carrying out all life activities that is exhibited by complex organisms. Examples of unicellular organisms are amoeba, paramecium, iglena, chlamydomonas, and the rest. These organisms have just one cells. They are microscopic in nature. They can't be seen with the visible eye, but with the aid of a microscope. The second division of organisms based on the number of cells are the multicellular organisms. From the word multi, it means they have more than one cell. And examples of these multicellular organisms are human beings, man. They are multicellular organisms. In an average human being, there are millions of cells in us. We have a lot of cells. And we also have basic multicellular organisms such as volvox and spirogyra and the likes. Very quickly, I'll be talking about the forms in which cells exist. We have four forms in which cells can exist. Number one form is as a independent or free living cells. What does this mean? This means when a particular cell is existing as an organism, and that one cell is capable of carrying out all life processes. This is what I've explained earlier under unicellular organisms. Examples of free living or independent cells are unicellular organisms such as amoeba, paramecium, chlamydomonas, and etc. The next form in which cell can exist is as a colony. This is when identical cells aggregate together to form a cluster or a mass of cell. Okay, and these cells cannot be differentiated from each other. They are dependent on each other. Okay, cell as a colony. A very common examples of a colonial organism is volvox. Volvox consists of cells that are massed together and they are dependent on each other. The next form of cell is as a filament. This is when identical cells join end to end to form a linear arrangement. But what makes this different from the colony is that the cells in filaments are independent of each other and they can be differentiated from each other. Examples of organisms that exist as filaments is spirogyra. I'll move to the last form in which cell can exist, and this is a cell as a part of living organisms. This is when cell exists in multicellular organisms. For instance, in human beings, we have millions of cells in our body. In our blood, for instance, we have the red blood cells or the erythrocytes, we have the white blood cells or the leukocytes, we have the platelet or the thrombocyte. Just in our blood alone, we have cells in our brains, we have cells, spinal cells, neural cells, we have cells in the heart and all that. These are cells in multicellular organisms, cells in as a part of living organisms. These are the four forms in which cell can exist: as a free living cell or independent cells. These are unicellular organisms, as a colony, as a filament, and as a part of living organisms. Aggregates of cells that perform similar functions form tissues. Tissues that perform similar functions that aggregate together forms organs. Organs that come together to perform similar functions forms system. Examples of system in human beings: we have respiratory system, muscular system, reproductive, excretory, and all those systems. This system consists of organs, and that is all about forms in which cell exists. Next, we'll be talking about the structure of a typical cell.